Alright, so today we're doing some kind of unboxing or overview, kind of review video on a BRS Replicant. And this is the newer model that came out this year. It's significantly different from the replicants that came out last year, so open this up. So, pretty standard. Comes with this thing. Classic toilet paper. Thank you. Same as Han. They gave you free toilet paper too. So there's nothing else in this box. So alright. So this is the second one I've worked with, so I already know all the details into it, so we'll get started. So the first noticeable thing with this model is that the handles are now rounded. Before these weren't beveled, so it was actually pretty sharp right here on the edge. And a lot of people would crown them or round the handles entirely because they were just so darn sharp. It was ridiculous. It hurt. So they took care of that. And I believe they started doing that on some of the premium reps last year. But this is the first time it's been seen on a standard model, at least for me. My favorite change is that all the screws are now T8. So the Zen pins and the spacer screws are now T8. And they are still ridiculously tough to take out. Don't know why. I think it's just the type of Loctite they use. They don't use blue Loctite. BRS uses, it looks like red, but it's a very, very small amount of red. I think that's what they do. They use a tiny, tiny amount of red that you can still take it out, but it's still crazy strong. And I had a really tough time taking mine out because I took the latch off of mine. It's not impossible, and you don't strip the screw nearly as easily, but it's still tough. The next biggest thing is that if you look inside here, the liners are now no longer a rough finish. Before it wasn't even satin, it was just a rough cut. Now it's actually stonewash. I think it might be the same stonewashing that's done on the blade. They look very similar. So let's open this up. The blade did come oiled, which is really nice of them. There it is. You can see the oil there. One thing that did bother me is that a lot of the replicants don't come as sharp as Alpha Beasts, and this one is sharp. It's pretty sharp, but definitely with an Alpha Beast, I wouldn't be able to run my finger along the edge like this comfortably. It's all right though. Are there any other changes I'm trying to think of? Everything is pretty much the same. The design is pretty much unchanged otherwise. Oh, that's right. Before, a lot of people were worried about the spacer collision. The reason why a lot of BRS replicant tips were chipping off is, one, it's pretty pointy, and two, because it used to collide with the spacer right there, and you could see markings. But since then, BRS has changed the shape of the spacer, and you won't ever deal with that issue anymore. So that's been taken care of, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. I know for a few people, these pins right here, see these female ends right here, some of them don't match. See how this one has like a little nipple right there? Well, for some of the pins, they actually don't match. And I think I can pull mine right up here. There you go. This is my first one here. So you can zoom in, you can see the top one right there. It actually doesn't have that as a bottom one. It doesn't match. They have the same finish, but it doesn't match, and it's a pretty tiny issue, but it's something to consider. As for the flipping, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that these are top tier. It's one of the best for sure, hands down. I mean, look at the handle play really quickly. There's less than 0%. I can't even feel it. Like I'm pressing really hard. That's absolutely nothing. And the screws are tight. I did check, by the way. The pivots are not Loctited. Same goes for the Zen pins. Zen pins and the pivots are not Loctited. I'm not sure why, but they're not. So be careful about that. I've actually never had a screw ever come out on me for the replicant, and so I don't Loctite it, but just letting you know, if you do roughhouse or throw this at concrete a few times, it's pretty likely it'll come loose. I do know that for the stone washing, it's sometimes if you get unlucky, the stone washing might not be perfectly even, and so you'll see streaks. There'll be like small cut lines on the liners. Let me see if I can find one on this one. There we go. I think I found one. See the hole right there? I'm gonna try to zoom in on this. You see it right there? See that shiny part right there? A little uneven. Yeah, well, the liners are cut fairly rough, and they covered it up with the stone washing to make it a more even finish, but, you know, sometimes stone washing is not a perfect solution. But, I mean, other than that, it's, who really cares? I do know that these, sometimes these holes are not as deburred as what people want, these small inner ones here. I saw a replicant earlier. It's the one that I didn't own personally, but it still had burr on the inside of the hole, so they had to scrape it out with an X-Acto knife. And yeah, other than that, I mean, the knife is amazing. I mean, it's for the price it's at, which is $269.99 on Blade HQ. You really can't find anything better than this. And for those of you who want, you know, well, how is it compared to an Alpha Beast? All right, a BRS Alpha Beast. And these two, they flip very differently. The Replicant's much faster, and the Alpha Beast is, you can definitely feel the weight more easily because of the way the weight is distributed, right? The Replicant has weight distributed throughout the entire handle, whereas the Alpha Beast, you know, it's very, very on the ends. And I wouldn't really say that one is better than the other, although I will say that the Alpha Beast definitely takes concrete a lot better than the Replicant, just because G10 dents up way easier than Thai. I had a friend who really, really beat up his Replicant, and the G10 didn't fare so well. Even though it didn't, you know, it looked fine. It still operated fine. It just looked awful. You know, just gashes everywhere. As far as, you know, differences for otherwise, I mean, the Alpha Beast doesn't come with a crown spine. The crown spine on the Replicant is incredibly comfortable, and it's something I really wish that they did on the Alpha Beast. I'm trying to think of some last thoughts here, but if you're interested, if you're looking into picking one up, I mean, I highly, highly recommend it, and definitely won't regret it, unless you have really tiny hands. I mean, this is a big knife, and it's a 10-inch knife, and the handles are thicker than most balisongs on the market. So if you have tiny hands, you might want to look for a different solution. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching.